Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to solve problem number 857, minimum cost to hire K workers. Okay, so this question is asked in Google. Okay, so now without any delay, let's read the problem statement. So in this problem there are n workers. You are given two integer arrays, quality and wage, where quality of I is the quality of ith worker and wage of I is the minimum wage expectation for the ith worker. Okay, so two arrays are given to us. One is quality. Okay, so this quality array is representing the quality of each worker, and this wage is nothing but the expected wage of a worker. Okay, so this worker at index 0 is expecting this much wage. Okay, this much or more than this one. This worker is expecting at least this wage. Okay, and this worker is expecting at least this much wage. Okay, so here I am going to write it like this: expected wage. Okay, expected wage. Okay, so minimum wage expectation for the ith worker. Okay, so you want to hire exactly k workers to form a paid group. Okay, so k value is given to us. Okay, and we have to form a group, okay, of two people. Okay, so we want to hire exactly k workers to form a paid group. To hire a group of k workers, we must pay them according to the following rules. Okay, so few rules are given to us. So every worker in the paid group must be paid at least their minimum wage expectation. Okay, so if I am going to hire this worker, okay, then I should at least give him this much amount. Okay, this much or more than this one. Okay, if I am going to hire this worker, then I have to pay him 50 or more than 50. Okay, and if I have to hire this worker, then I have to pay him 30 or more than 30. Okay, so this is the minimum expectation of each worker. Okay, and the second rule is, in the group each worker's pay must be directly proportional to their quality. Okay, so each worker's pay must be directly proportional to their quality. This means if a worker quality is double that of the another worker in the group, then they must be paid twice as much as the other worker. Okay, so let's understand this statement. So let me do one thing here. Let me copy this example one. Okay, so this is the example one, right? And let me copy the remaining two lines of this problem statement here. Okay, so see here. So if I'm going to hire this worker, let's say if I'm going to hire this worker, okay, worker at index 0. Okay, so tell me what is the expected wage of this worker. So expected wage of this worker is 70, right? Here I am writing expected wage. Okay, and what is the quality of this worker if I am going to hire this one? So quality of this worker is 10. Okay, then next time let's say I want to hire this one. Okay, I want to hire this one. Okay, so what is the wage of this worker? 50, right? And what is the quality of this worker? Is nothing but 20, right? So now I have already hired this person. And after that I want to hire this one. But when this person comes to know that this person having quality, half of it's his quality, and he's getting 70 and he's just getting 20 for twice the quality, then he will be sad, right? He will be sad because for this worker, okay, this is my worker one, let's say. For this worker, okay, for 10 quality I am paying him 70. So this worker is having quality 20, then I should pay him at least 140, right? Only then he will be happy, right? I have to maintain few orders, right? In, let's say I have an organization, I don't want my employees to be unhappy. Okay, I want to pay them proportional to their quality. Okay, so if I am paying for worker 1 having quality 10, I am paying him 70. Then if there is any other worker whose quality is twice then my worker 1, then I have to pay him double, right? So I have to pay this worker totally 140 rupees, okay, not 50. Only then he will be happy, right? Only then he will be happy, right? And my next worker is expected wage is 30 and his quality is, what is his quality? His quality is 5, okay. So if I am paying this worker, okay, so let's say this is my boss worker, okay, this is my boss worker, okay, so let's say this is boss, okay, this is fixed, okay, and based on him I am paying the salary for other workers, okay, this is my boss and based on him I am paying the salary of other workers, right? So here quality is 10, then I am paying him 70. Here quality is half, just 5, then I should pay him 35 now, okay. He will be sad if I am just going to pay him 30 because he knows that my boss is having quality 10, okay, twice of his quality, and he is getting 70, and so he should get at least 35, right? Only then he will be happy, right? So here I am going to cancel it out and making I am going to make his quality as I am going to make his wage as 35, okay. Only then he will be happy, okay. So in this way you can see here, see, if let's say this is my worker 1, okay, let's say this is my worker 1, this is my worker 2, and this is my worker 3, okay. So here if I am going to do worker 1, why worker 2, okay. So tell me what is the wage of my worker 1? My wage of worker 1 is expected wage, no, actual wage, okay. This is actual wage, this is also actual wage, this is actual wage, okay. So actual wage of this worker 1 is 70, and what is his quality? His quality is 10, okay. His quality is 10. And what is the wage of my worker 2? Wage of my worker 2 is 140, right? And what is his quality? His quality is nothing but 20, okay. And this is okay, so this is for wage 1, worker 1 and worker 2, okay. So here let's divide it, let's divide both the numbers. So I'm getting the same ratio now, I'm getting the ratio, same ratio, 1 by 2 is equal to 1 by 2, okay. So what I did here, I have divided their wages and their qualities, I am getting equal proportion, right? Same way if I do this for worker 1 or worker 2 or 3, okay, let's say worker 2 or worker 3, okay. So what is the wage of my worker 2? That I am going to pay him 140. And what is the wage I am going to pay to the worker 3? Is nothing but 35. And after that let's write the quality as well. So what is the quality of my worker 2? It is nothing but 20. And what is the quality of my worker 3? Is nothing but 5, okay. So let's divide both the numbers, 5 1 4, okay. So here divide this is nothing 1 and this is 4, right? 35 into 4 is nothing but 140, right? 5 4 are 20, 4 3 are 12, 13 14, okay. So I hope that this is clear. So ratio is same, right? So this is what it's saying. In the group, each worker's pay must be directly proportional to their quality, okay. So each worker's pay is directly, I am writing it as wage, okay. Each person's pay or wage is directly proportional to their quality, okay. So little bit math is there, right? Little bit math is there, right? Quality, right? So wages of these two workers, I am dividing the wages of two workers and the quality of two workers, so I am getting the same proportion, right? So now everyone is happy, okay. So if I am going to select this boss, okay, if I am going to select this boss, then I have to pay other workers accordingly, right? So here what one condition is that K is 2, okay. So I have to hire only 2 people, okay. I have to hire only 2 people, okay. So I hope that this line is clear, right? So given the integer K, we have to return the least amount of money needed to be form a paid group satisfying the above condition. Okay, so least money I need to spend. Okay, so if I am selecting this one, okay, so this is fixed, and for this employee, how much amount I am paying? 70. And after that I have to just form a two group now, for a group of k people. Okay, so this is one, and second people I have to select. So what is the minimum wage? 140. Do I need to select this one or this one? What is the minimum? Okay, I have to just make the two people. Okay, I have just make the combination of two people, so I have to select this minimum wage one, right? 35. I have to pay just 35 to this one. So if I'm going to add both of them, so what is the total result? 5105. And see, this is my output, right? So I hope that this is clear to you guys. Okay, okay, now you have one question that, let's suppose I want to select this 21st. Okay, let's say this is my boss. Okay, so let's do one thing here. Let's write it like this. Okay, so now let's say if I select 21st. Okay, so what is the wage of expected wage of 20 of worker, this worker 2. Okay, so this is my worker 1, or let's say this is worker at 0th index, this is worker at 1 index, this is worker at 2nd index. Okay, so this is nothing but 0th index, 1 index and 2 index. Okay, so if w1 is my boss, okay, if w1 is the boss, right, so expected wage for him is 50, and his quality is 20. Okay, okay, this is done. Then after that I want to select worker at 0th index. Okay, so what is the expected wage of worker at 0th index? 70, right? Expected wage. And what is the quality? 10. Okay, so now I have to pay, this is my boss. Okay, this is my boss. I have to pay other people accordingly, right? So 20, for 20 I am paying 50, and so for 10 I have to just pay 25 now. For 10 I have to just pay 25, right? For 20 I am paying 50. Okay, when my quality is 20, then I am paying 50 to my boss. So this person has half the quality of its boss, right? So definitely I have to pay just 25 to him, right? But if I'm going to pay him 25, then this person will be unhappy, because minimum expected wage should be 70 for this worker. Okay, so that's why I'm not going to select this one. Okay, I hope that this is clear. So how I am okay, there is one simple math formula. Okay, if you guys are puzzled why I'm writing at 25 here. Okay, so see here, for 50, okay, for wage 50 and having quality 20. Okay, quality is 20 and wage is 50. Okay, and next worker's quality is 10. Then how much I need to pay him? Let's write it x here. Okay, this is done. 50. Okay, this is done. Then 50, after that 50 into 10 is 500. 500, this 10 goes here, right? And write 20 here is equal to x. So here we get the x value now as 25. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. So right, so if I am going to pay this worker at 0th index 25, then he will be unhappy because the expected wage for him is 70. Okay, so that simply means I'm not going to select this one. So now let's go to my worker at index 2. Okay, so what is the wage of expected wage of my worker 2? It's nothing but 30, right? And what is the quality of my worker at index 2? It's nothing but 5. Okay, so for 20, okay, for 50 here I'm going to write 20, and what is the quality of this one? 5, and here x. Okay, so 500, this is nothing but 250, right? 250 divided by 20 is equal to my x. Okay, so let's divide it. So 2 is 12.5. Okay, so my x value is 12.5. Okay, here the expected wage for this worker is 30, but I am going to pay him just 12.5, just 12.5. Then he will be happy. He's not going to work for me, right? Because his expected wage is at least this 30, right? And if I am going to make this as my boss, then I am not going to form one group of two people, because I'm not going to select this one as well, right? So if this is my boss, then I'm not going to form a group. Okay, so That is why I'm not going to make this as my boss. Okay, so this condition is failed here. Okay, I hope that this is clear. So first time we made this person as our boss, okay, worker at index 0, okay, and next time we made this person as worker as boss, as our boss at right at index 1. Okay, so now let's do one more thing here. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. Okay, so let's do one more thing here. Let's make this person as our boss, the worker at index 2. Okay, so what is the wage of worker at index 2? Wage is nothing but 30. Wage is 30 and quality is 5. Okay, this is done. Then after that, let's say I am going to select the person at index 0. Okay, so what is the expected wage for person at index 0? 70 and quality is 10. Okay, so for 5 I am paying him 30. Okay, this is my boss right now. This is my boss. Okay, so for him, if I am paying at 5, for 5 I am paying 30, then at 10 I have to pay him just 60 na? 60, right? For 5 I am paying 30, for 10 I have to pay 60. Then he will be unhappy. He is not going to become a part of our group, because the expected wage for him is nothing but 70, but we are going to pay him just 60 according to our boss. Okay, then he is not happy. Then now let's select the other person. Wage is 50 and quality is 20. Wage is 50, quality is 20, right? For 5 I am paying 30 and this person has quality 4 times. Okay, so what I'm going to pay here, so let's just simply write the formula 30 divided by 5. The quality of this one is 20, so what I'm going to pay here, so 30 into 20 is 600 divided by 5 is equal to x. So 5 is nothing but 5 1 here to 120. Okay, this is what I'm going to pay here, right? I'm going to pay him 120. Then he is happy, because expected for him is 50 but I'm paying here 120. He is happy. Okay, he is going to become the part of a group. Okay, so see here how much money I'm spending here. This person is happy, this person is happy, both are happy. Okay, k is 2. Okay, I'm good. So for this person I'm spending 30 and for this person I'm spending 120. So what is the total sum? The total sum is 150, but I have to return the minimum one na. So when did I find the minimum one? Okay, when did I find the minimum one? So I found the minimum one when this worker at index 0 was the was. Okay, because in this case the total sum was 105 and right now I am getting 150. Okay, so I have to select the person with this much total amount. Okay, so I have to make this person as my boss. Okay, 10 70 worker at index 0, and then I have to form a group of 2 people. Okay, so I hope that you guys are clear with the explanation. Okay, what we need to do here. Okay, so now let's see how we are going to solve this problem. Okay, so what we are going to do here. Okay, so we are going to use a simple approach here. Okay, the approach one that I have just now explained. Okay, so in this approach I am going to make each person a boss one time. Okay, and then I am going to form a group. Okay, so in this approach I am going to make each person as a boss one by one. Okay, and then I'm trying to form a one group, and then in the group I have to check the total sum. Okay, if I get the any result, okay, if I get any minimum result, then I have to just return that. Okay, so this is what I need to do here, right? So here how we are calculating. Okay, so you are guys already aware that I am using this formula to get the pay that I'm going to get the original pay that I'm going to pay to a person. Okay, how I am driving this formula, okay, so this is a boss wage. Okay, this is a wage of my boss. Okay, 30 is nothing but, okay, so let's understand this with this example. What is 70? 70. Okay, here I am making this worker 0 as my boss, right? So 70 is nothing but the wage of my boss. Okay, 70 is nothing but the expected wage of my boss. Okay, so here this is nothing but, I'm going to write it as, okay, let's write it here, expected expected wage of my boss. Okay, and what is this one? Okay, after that we are writing the expected wage, right? This is expected wage, and what is this? Expected quality of the boss. Okay, not expected but just the quality of boss. So here can I write it like this? Quality of my boss. Okay, this is clear, and this is equal to here I am writing the formula, right? So what is this? This x is nothing but the wage of worker, right? This x is nothing but the worker's wage. Okay, so I am going to write it like this: worker's wage that I am going to pay. This is not expected wage of worker, this is the worker's wage that I am going to pay, x value, right? Worker's wage. And after that below is nothing but the quality of my worker, right? Below I am going to write quality of my worker. Okay, so I hope that this thing is clear. Okay, this is the formula that I am using here. 30 by 5x by 20. Okay, so here if I want to find okay, so I can say this part as expected wage of boss divided by quality of boss as nothing but I am going to say this part as boss ratio. Okay, I am going to say this as boss ratio. Okay, this is nothing but my boss ratio. Okay, and I am going to take this here, so into quality of my worker. Okay, so this formula is going to give me the worker's wage. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. Okay, so this formula, boss ratio into quality of worker is equal to worker wage, is going to give me the wage that I'm going to pay to my worker. Okay, so I hope that this formula is clear to you, right? So now let's try to solve this problem. Okay, let's write few lines of code, and I'm going to explain side by side as well. Okay, this what I'm writing here. So first let's calculate the length. Okay, so let's calculate the length of this quality. Okay, so this is just going to give me the number of workers total. Okay, so quality dot length. Okay, this is done. Then after that double result. Okay, and in the result, just like integer, in integer if we want to select the largest value, then we are writing integer dot max underscore value. So for double, okay, since we have to return the result in double format, so I'm going to write here, let's store the value as double dot max underscore value. Okay, so I hope that this line is clear, max underscore value, right? Then after that we are going to make a one by one boss. Okay, first I am going to make this 70 by 10. Okay, this worker at index 0 as my boss, right? So let's write one loop for int boss is equal to 0, boss less than n, and boss plus plus. Okay, this is done. Then after that we have to calculate the boss ratio. Okay, so this is what I'm going to calculate boss ratio. And how I'm going to calculate this boss ratio? Expected wage of boss and quality of boss. Okay, this is how I'm going to calculate. So I have already explained the formula, right? So double boss ratio is equal to double of expected wage of our boss. Okay, so let's copy this, paste it here, expected wage of my boss and quality of boss, right? Quality of boss. Okay, this is how I'm going to calculate the boss ratio, right? Then after that we have to form a group, right, to hire a group of people, right? So let's form one group, double group, and size of my group is nothing but new group of n. Okay, so I am going to just add everything. Okay, here see, in this example one, when this was my boss, okay, so I am adding all these values, right, 70, 140, 35. Then after that I am finding the minimum of these two, minimum of two values. Okay, then doing the sum. Okay, so here I'm going to give size as n initially. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. And then here group size, int group size is equal to 0. Okay, so now this is done. Now I'm going to iterate over each worker one by one. Okay, so first this worker, second this worker, third this worker, right, one by one. So here I'm going to write one more loop, int worker is equal to 0, worker is less than n, worker plus plus, right? And then we have to calculate the worker wage that I'm going to pay, like here 140, 35. Okay, so this is a formula, worker wage formula. Worker wage is equal to boss ratio into quality of worker. Okay, so here let's write the formula, double worker wage is equal to quality of this worker, right, into the boss ratio. Okay, this is done. After that, only if the worker is happy, okay, only if my worker is happy, then only in that case I have to add this person in my group. Otherwise I don't want to add him, right? See here, 70, and I am paying him 60 because of this boss. When this is my boss, then I'm not going to include this, right? Okay, so only if he is happy, then only I'm going to include this. So what I'm going to write here, if the worker wage, if worker wage is greater than or equal to the expected wage of this worker, expected wage, expected wage of worker, okay, then in that case I have to add this person in my group. Okay, group of initially group size is 0, right? So here in the group array I am passing this person's wage, worker wage. Okay, and after passing this worker's wage in my group, I have to increment the group size. Okay, so I am just doing this group size plus plus. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. Okay, this is where my for loops ends. Then after that, if my group size is less than k, okay, after all this, if still my group size is less than k, then simply continue, then we don't need to do anything. Okay, so simply I am doing continue here, right? Continue. Okay, this is done. Then after that, let's use the priority queue. Okay, so priority queue. Okay, here in the priority queue I am inserting just double type elements, right? PQ, let's name it as PQ, and here new priority q and just pass the group size. What is my total group size? Okay, and then just do collections dot reverse order. Okay, okay, so actually what I'm doing here, I'm going to use my max heap. Okay, in the max heap, the wage which is highest, okay, that wage will come to the top, right, if I'm using max heap. Okay, so I'm just going to remove that wage. Okay, so how I'm going to do, because here my group size, if my group size is just greater than k, and then I have to form a group size of k, right? So let's say this is 70. Okay, so this is my max heap. Okay, first I insert 70 here. Okay, then my k size is just 1. Then after that I add 140. Okay, so 140 is going to the top. Okay, 140 is going to the top here. Okay, then my k is equal to 2. Then after that I want to insert this 35. Okay, so this 35 will go to the bottom. Okay, this 35 will go to the bottom, and then this k will become my 1, this k will become 2, and here k will become 3. So topmost element I'm going to remove. Okay, so since I am using a max heap, that is why I am writing this collections dot reverse order. Okay, I am going to use max heap. Okay, in Java. Okay, so here by default, I hope that you guys know that by default, if I don't define anything, then by default Java is going to use min heap. Okay, since I have already reversed the order, so in this case it is going to use a max heap. Okay, so here double sum is equal to 0. Okay, and then I have to iterate over each element in my group. Okay, int I is equal to 0, I is less than group size I plus plus, and then sum is equal to sum plus group of I. Okay, I am forming the sum. Okay, and then in the priority queue I am just going to offer this element group of I. Okay, this element. Okay, so if the priority queue dot size, okay, if the priority queue dot size is greater than k, then in that case we have to just remove the top element. So from sum I have to remove that element as well, right? Sum is equal to sum minus priority queue dot poll. Okay, so I am removing that element as well side by side. Okay, this is done. Okay, then after that my result is going to be nothing but result is equal to math dot min of result comma sum. Okay, and then in the end we have to just return result. Okay, so we have written the code, so let's run it and see if there are any code issues. So yes, there are some code issues. So only in line number 22 we are getting issues. So here priority queue double priority queue new priority queue, here group size collections dot reverse order. Okay, this looks good. Now let's run it again. Okay, so there is one more issue here, cannot find the symbol. Okay, let's go to line number 8. Double group is equal to new group. Why I am writing group here? New double na. Okay, this is done. And here what is the group size? Collections dot occupies. I am writing C short here. Okay, this is done. And any other issues? Let's run it. So see, there is some issue here in our code. So let's try to resolve it. For int I is equal to 0, I is less than group size plus sum is equal to sum plus group of I, and then primary this priority queue I am offering this. If the size is greater than k, then in that sum, why sum is equal to sum is equal to no sum is equal to sum minus. Okay, let's run the code. So see, both the test cases has been accepted, right? Both the test cases has been accepted, right? But I don't think that this is going to execute all the test cases, okay? Because the input size is very large, right? So let's do one thing, let's submit it and see. So see, we are getting time limit exceeded error, right? We have passed 41 out of 46 test cases, okay? So definitely we have to make our code optimal, okay? And okay, so this is the approach 1, okay? So now after that I'm going to solve this problem using approach 2, okay? But I hope that you guys are clear with the basic how I'm going to solve this problem, okay? So we are going to make boss one by one, and then I am going to iterate over each worker, okay? Then I'm going to form one group, okay? So here my loop is running n times, okay? Then after that here also it is running n times, okay? Nested loop, this is nested loop, right? And then also we are using priority queues, okay? Here it is also running the group of size times, okay? So time complexity is very large, right, in this case, okay? So now let's move to the approach 2, okay? So this is the approach 1, okay? So in approach 1 we are making every person as a boss one time and then iterating over each workers, okay? But in approach 2 I don't want to do this, okay? I don't want to make every person as boss, okay? So now let's move to the approach 2, okay? Approach 2, okay? So as you guys know that our approach 1 is failing due to time limit exceed error, right? So here if you see that this is one for loop, okay? This is one for loop, and it is running for totally n times, okay? Then inside this there is one more nested loop, right? There is one more nested loop, and it is also running n times, okay? So n into n, right? And our for loops, this for loop, outer for loop ends here, okay? So inside this for loop we are using our priority queue, right? So inside this for loop we are using priority queue as well, okay? And the priority queue is taking log of k time, okay? And how many total what is the total size that we have to form is k, right? So here this is going to be my total time complexity, okay? So n square plus n of k log k, okay? So for priority queue min if max if we know the time complexity is log of k, okay, for filling the elements and removing the top elements. So totally it is going to take log of k time complexity, okay? So overall I can say this is my time complexity, n plus k log k, okay? So this time complexity is very huge, right? Because simply you guys understand it like this, because we are making each worker as boss one time, and then we are iterating over each worker one by one to form a group, okay? This is what we are doing in our approach 1. So that is the reason our code is failing with the time limit exceed error, okay? So now let's move to the approach 2, and in this approach 2 I'm not going to make some big change, okay? I am just going to make some minimum number of bosses, okay? So how I'm going to make minimum number of bosses, okay? So you guys are already aware of this formula, right? Expected underscore wage of boss divided by quality of boss is equal to worker of wage and quality of worker, okay? This is how I'm calculating my worker wage, okay? And inside this code I'm writing one more line here. See, if worker wage is greater than the expected wage of worker, okay? So this is the line, right? If worker wage is greater than equal to expected wage of worker, only in that case I am forming one group, right? In approach 1, okay, in approach 1 I am using this condition, right? And if this condition is satisfied, only in that case I am forming one group, right? So here can I write this line like this? Okay, so what is my worker wage? Okay, my worker wage is nothing but boss ratio into quality worker. Okay, so can I write it like this? Let me just copy this. Okay, so can I write this worker wage as, you know this formula, let me copy this formula. Okay, you're already aware of this formula, right? Boss ratio into quality worker is equal to worker wage. Okay, this is the formula that we had, right? And here what I'm saying that worker wage should be greater than equal to the expected wage of worker. In that case only I am forming one group, right? Can I write this worker underscore wage like this? Yes, I can write like this. Okay, so here I am going to write boss ratio into quality of a worker is equal to expected, is should be greater than equal to the expected wage of worker. Okay, this is done. Then I can also write it like this. Okay, boss ratio should be greater than equal to expected underscore wage of worker divided by quality of worker. I can also write it like this, right? Simple mathematics. Okay, so here I move this quality of worker in the down part, right? So I can write it like this. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. And I can also write it like this. Boss ratio should be greater than, so expected wage of worker divided by quality of worker is nothing but worker ratio, right? Same way. Okay, how we are calculating the boss ratio? We are calculating the boss ratio as expected wage of our boss and quality of our boss. Same way, expected wage of worker and divided by quality of worker is nothing but worker ratio. Okay, so from here one thing is clear. Our boss ratio should be greater than equal to our worker ratio. In that case only we are going to form a group. Okay, so in approach 2 what I am going to do, so this is my example. Okay, let me copy the example. This is my example, right? So I hope that you guys know how I'm calculating this formula. Okay, so this is how I have derived this formula. Okay, so this is the example, right? So let's calculate the worker ratio of each worker. Okay, this is worker at index 0, worker at index 1, worker at index 2. Okay, so let's calculate the worker ratio. So worker expected wage of first one is 70 and quality is 10. So what is the ratio? Ratio is 7:1. Okay, what is the ratio? 7/1. And okay, 7. I'm just going to write 7 here. Okay, so this is the output. Same way for second one, what is the expected wage? 50. And what is the ratio? What is the quality? 20. So 20 divided by 5, so it's nothing but 2.5. Okay, so this is the second worker ratio. Okay, third one, what is the total wage, expected wage? Total expected wage is nothing but 70. And what is the quality? 5. So what is output? 5 6 the 30. Okay, so I'm going to write 6 here. Okay, 6. So now I have calculated the worker ratio of each worker. Okay, so now after that I am going to sort the worker ratio. So first I am going to write 2.5, and then I am going to write 6, and then after that I am going to write the 7. Okay, so here, okay, so I hope that this is clear. Okay, worker ratios. And for this 2.5, this is a 2.5, right? This is my worker 1. okay, worker at 1. Okay, what is the quality of this worker? So I am going to write quality side by side. So quality of this worker is 20. For 6, worker ratio is 6. What is the quality of this worker? 5. I am going to write quality as 5. Okay, I am just writing the quality here side by side. Okay, for this worker, the worker ratio is 7. What is the quality here? 7. What is the quality? What is the quality here? 10. Right. So see, one thing is clear, that with when I'm going to select this as boss, okay, 50 by 20 as boss, then in that case I am not going to form a group with 6 and 7, because if this is my boss na, so my boss ratio should be greater than equal to my worker ratio. Okay, in that case only I am going to form a group. Okay, I have derived this formula using this. Where is my if condition? Worker wage is greater than equal to expected wage of worker. In that case I am forming group, right? So here worker wage is greater than expected wage of worker. I am writing worker wage like this, boss ratio into quality worker, and boss ratio should be greater than equal to worker ratio. Okay, this is how I am driving this formula, right? So my boss ratio should be greater than equal to worker ratio. In that case only I am going to form a group. Okay, so I have to form a group for k is equal to 2 people. Okay, so if I am just going to start with this as my boss, then I am not going to form a group. Okay, with this person 2.5. 2.5 is nothing but 50 by 20. So here in the approach one somewhere I have explained, right? See, where is that? See here, 50 by 20. When I am making this for this as my boss, then I am not selecting both of these people, right? These are not forming one group, and this is proved from here, this formula, and from this example. Okay, from this formula it is explained. Okay, so for this 30 by 5, okay, so from this one I am not going to form any group. This is going to be single, one person only. Okay, when k is 1, then this is fine. Okay, now when k is 2, then I can form this group. Okay, when my k is 2, I can form this group, right? K for k is 2, I can form this group of 2 people, right? So 6, where I am getting 6? 430 by 5. Okay, so 430 by 5, you see, see here, 30 by 5, I am going to form a group with 50 by 20. So see, that is right, this condition is satisfied. For this 30 by 5, I am going to make a group with 50 and 20, right? And with 7 with 7, that is nothing but 70 by 10. I am not going to form a group. So see here, 70 by 10, I am crossing it now. I am not going to form a group. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. And so here I am going to form a group. Okay, in this orange color I can form a group of 2 people. Okay, so I can just form a group. If this is my boss, then I'm just going to form a group with these people. Okay, if this is boss, then there is no people in the front of it, so I'm not going to form any group. Okay, this is the individual. For this 7 by 10, 7 comma 10, 7 is the worker ratio. I can form the group with any of these two. Okay, k is 2 na, I can form a big group as well. Okay, for k is 3, I can make the group as well. Okay, so see here, for 7 is nothing but 70 by 10. So 70 by 10, see, I can form group with all these 3 people. Okay, all are happy, right? So from here one thing is clear, that my boss ratio should be greater than equal to worker ratio. Okay, so if this is my boss, then I can take this as my worker. Okay, boss ratio should always be greater than my worker ratio. In that case only I can form a group. Okay, so I hope that you guys are clear with this. Okay, so from here one thing is clear, that we don't need to make this as our boss. Okay, so definitely it is going to reduce some time. Okay, we are not going to check this as our boss. We are only going to check for these 2 people as our boss. Okay, so how we are going to solve this problem then? Okay, so from here I can simply write this, that my boss, okay, my boss is going to start from k minus 1 index. K minus 1 index 0 1 2. K is 2 na, so here for k is 2, I can start from here making 1 groups. Okay, I don't need to select for these people, but still there is going to be some issue. Okay, I will tell you later what is the issue here. Okay, so simply it is also going to give me actually okay, so let's leave it. Let's try to first write the code, then I will explain what's happening here. Okay, so now I am going to write the code for approach 2. So let's this is same. Okay, so here first we are calculating the worker ratio na? So for we need to calculate the worker ratio. So here let's create one array double worker ratio is equal to new double n and 2 here, right? Okay, so in worker ratio, here I am creating the 2D array. Okay, so in 2D array I am storing the worker ratio. Okay, I am storing the worker ratio, and then after that also I am storing the quality of each worker. Okay, two things I am storing. Okay, so here after that let's run one loop. Okay, so let's run one loop for int worker is equal to 0, worker is less than n, worker plus plus, and here my worker ratio array, right? Worker underscore ratio. In this worker underscore ratio array, first index I am going to save as worker, and this is 0. Okay, and here I am just going to convert this into my double as expected wage of worker and quality of worker. This is what I am going to write, right? So instead of boss, here I am first calculating for the each worker. Okay, so here in the place of boss I am just going to write worker and the quality of this worker. Okay, this is done. Then after that, worker ratio, okay, at this first column, okay, I am going to write the quality of my particular worker. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. Okay, so I am creating array, okay, 2D array. So in the first column I am writing the worker ratios, and in the second column I am writing the qualities. Okay, so this is my worker 1, worker 2, worker 3. Okay, so that is why this is size is n. Okay, the total number of workers, and here I am writing 2 because there are total two columns, 0 and 1, and this is nothing but the size, okay, number of workers. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. So I am calculating the worker ratios, and then I am also storing the quality of each worker. Then after that we are also sorting now. So see, in the example I have explained, after calculating the worker ratios I am sorting. Okay, so here simple formula, arrays dot sort, I have to sort this array worker ratio, and in this array if we have to be here, we have two values, right? So I am just going to compare. Okay, if there are two arrays, okay, then I am just going to compare their first value. Okay, I am going to sort them based on their worker ratio, right? So here what I am going to write, double dot compare a. Okay, so a and b, let's suppose there are total two different values. Okay, so a value is containing, okay, let's write it here. A value is containing, let's say 2.5 comma 20, and b value, let's say it is containing 6 comma 5. Okay, so this is my a, okay, this is my b. Okay, I have to compare these two. Okay, a and b, double dot compare. Then in a I am sorting based on their worker ratio now. So here I am going to write double dot compare a of 0. Okay, and here I am going to write b of 0. So I hope that this line is clear. Okay, how this lambda expression is working. Okay, this is done. Then after that I have told you now, I don't need to check for all the bosses. Okay, I know that I need to start from this k minus 1. Okay, next time, because I'm not going to form a group of 2 people using this. So here int boss is equal to k minus 1. K minus 1, boss is less than n, boss plus plus, then double boss ratio is double of expected wage of boss or quality of boss. This is what I have written here, but why I need to write this? Okay, I can simply, since I have already calculated the worker ratios, right? So I don't need to again use this formula. Okay, since I already calculated the worker ratios. Okay, and here I just need the boss ratio. So for boss ratio I can simply write it like this: worker ratio and here I need the ratio, right? So ratio is at index 0, right? And boss is k minus 1. Okay, so I have already calculated the ratios now, that is why I am not using this formula. Okay, so that's the only reason. Then double group, new double, here I am passing, and okay, instead of this just pass k, or you can just write boss plus 1, simple, boss plus 1. Okay, and after that we have to run for workers. Okay, for int worker is 0, worker is less than equal to the boss, and after that worker plus plus, then double of, after that double of worker wage is equal to worker our worker ratio, worker 1 into boss ratio. Okay, so here I am writing calculating the worker wage now. So I can simply write it like this: quality of worker into boss ratio. I am writing now boss ratio, right? So here can I write it like this: quality of worker. So quality, I am already storing the quality here side by side. Okay, side by side I am already storing the quality, right? So here instead of this I'm just going to write worker ratio. In worker ratio array only I am storing now. In worker ratio array, here I am storing the quality, right? So worker ratio at column 1, and worker wage is at which index? Worker index. Okay, worker index. So this is how I'm going to calculate the worker wage, and we don't need to write this right now. Okay, we don't need to write this. Okay, so here group of worker is equal to worker wage, and then after that priority queue, we are running one priority queue, right? Group here, and group size, instead of group size I am just going to write group.length, collections.reverse order, and then double sum is equal to 0. Then we are going to iterate over group of I. Okay, here let's use for each loop. Okay, let's use for each loop. This is okay, this is okay. Here let's use wage, sum is equal to sum plus wage, and here double wage of, because we are not using the group size now, that's a simple reason I am going to use for each loop in double wage of group. Okay, iterating one by one over each group. Okay, so this is done. Now let's run the code and see if there are any code issues. Okay, there is one issue here. Okay, so see, all the test cases has been accepted, right? But this is also going to give me the time limit exceed error. Okay, so let's run it. Then after that I am going to solve this problem using optimal approach. Okay, the final approach which is going to solve the problem for us. Okay, so here it is also solving only 41 test cases. Okay, so what I'm doing here, okay, so since okay, so first n is equal to quality.length, then in the result I'm storing the max value, then we are calculating the worker ratios for each worker. Okay, I am calculating the worker ratio. Then I am sorting the array based on the worker ratios. After sorting the after sorting the array based on worker ratio, I know that I don't need to search for this one boss. Okay, I don't need to make this person as my boss. I have to just start from this one. Okay, so here I am going to start from this index only, and int boss is equal to k minus 1, boss is less than n boss plus plus, and then the boss ratio is nothing but worker ratio for boss. Okay, k minus 1. Okay, so here I am writing k minus 1 0, so this is nothing but going to give me this one only. Okay, 6. And then after that we are defining this group. Okay, then I am running one for loop, and in this for loop, okay, I am calculating the workers wage, and we already know that this person is going to form a group. Okay, we are already aware of this. Okay, since we have already sorted them based on their ratios, right? So I am going to add this worker group of worker into worker wage. Okay, so I have added the wage of particular worker in a group. Then I am going to use a priority queue, and this is same like approach one. Okay, so here I am going to iterate over each person in my group, over each worker in my group, page by page. Okay, so first page, then second page, then third page in this group. Okay, so sum, I am making the sum of the wages. Then in the priority queue I am adding the wage, and if my priority queue size is greater than k, then I am reducing, I am minus subtracting the sum, okay, from the top element, and in the result I am storing the result, minimum of the result in sum. Okay, so I hope that you guys are clear with the approach too. Okay, so okay, so here in this case also we are getting the time limit exceeder error, right? So again, see, first thing is that we are sorting the array. Okay, this time we are also sorting the array. So here we are going to get the n log n time complexity. Okay, just for sorting the array I am getting of n log n time complexity, n log n. Okay, just for sorting the array. Okay, using this function I'm going to get n log n time complexity. Then after before that we are also running one loop, right? We are also running this loop n times. Okay, so n log n, then this of n, then after that this for loop. Okay, then this one. Okay, then after that this is a boss array, and this boss array is also again running n times, and there is one nested for loop. Okay, so this loop is also going to run for boss number of times. Okay, so just we can just simply say that it is also going to run for n times. Okay, in a very large case. Okay, when the values are very large, so I am just going to say it as n square. Okay, n square plus, then after inside that, okay, this boss loop is ending here. Inside this we are also running one priority queue, and in this priority queue also we are running one for each loop. Okay, so overall I am going to say that this is also going to take n of k my group size and log of k for using the priority queue. Okay, so this is going to be the time complexity, and it is also very large. But was our previous one? So previous was this one, right? Previous was this one. Okay, this was the old one. Okay, so this time we are also sorting the array, so this time also we are getting our time limit exceed error. Okay, okay, so now let's move to the final approach. Okay, so this is going to be our final approach, approach 3. So as we already aware, okay, as we already aware, in approach 1 what we are doing, in approach 1 we are making every person as a boss, every person as a boss, and then we are going to iterate over each workers one by one. Okay, we are making every person as our boss, we are then iterating over each workers one by one, and then we are checking. Okay, then we are forming a group, and then we are checking whether we are getting the minimum wage or not. Okay, minimum result or not. In approach 2 what we did, we calculated that we don't need to check for all the bosses. Okay, we have calculated, derived this formula that boss ratio should be greater than equal to worker ratio, and if this is true, in that case only we have to make that person as our boss. Okay, so for this person we are aware we can form a group with this one if k is 2. Okay, for this person we can't form a group with any people having worker ratio greater than this 2.5. Okay, so this is what we know, right? So our boss ratio should be greater than equal to worker ratio. In that case only we can form group. Okay, so in approach 2 we have eliminated few peoples. Okay, we have eliminated few boss. Okay, we have eliminated few boss. Okay, but also we are also iterating over each workers. Okay, over all the workers. Okay, this is what we are doing in approach 2. We have eliminated few bosses, but we are still iterating over all the workers. Okay, so now let's move to our final approach. Okay, our approach 3. Okay, so in the approach 3, this is going to remain same. Okay, till here is going to remain same. Okay, then after that I will show you what we need to do. Okay, so let me remove it. Okay, so we are just going to calculate the quality dot length to calculate the number of workers. Then in the double result, okay, we don't need this, need this. In double worker ratio we are going to calculate the worker ratios. Okay, same way as we have calculated in the approach 2, and then we are sorting the worker ratios. Okay, in increasing order. This is done. Okay, so now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to write the worker ratios and quality again. Okay, so this worker 2 has the minimum right, this worker has a minimum worker ratio, right, 2.5. and what was the quality for this 20? Okay, this is nothing but my worker at index 1. Okay, so this is one thing. Then after that second, this 6 was the worker ratio for 30 and 5. Okay, so 6 was the worker ratio, and the quality was nothing but 5. Okay, so this is for my worker at index 2, and for worker at index 1 my worker ratio was 7 and my quality was 10. Okay, I have already explained this, right? So this is my array. Okay, this is nothing but worker at index 0. So we are already aware that we can start forming the bosses from this index. Okay, from my k-1 index. Okay, this is my index 0, this is the next one, this is index 2. Okay, so k is 2 now, so 2 minus 1 1. So from here I can form the bosses. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, first I am going to run one loop here. Okay, from index number 0 to k-1, and in this index just first let's tell me for the worker ratio 1 v1 what was the quality, 20. Okay, and for this worker 2 what was the quality, quality is 5. Okay, so what is my boss, I'm always multiplying with boss now. So here there is one formula, boss ratio into quality of worker. In that uh, just like that I'm going to get the worker wage. Okay, worker wage nothing but boss ratio into quality of worker. So quality of this worker is 5, and this is my boss as well, right? My boss starting from here only. Okay, if I am running one loop here and my boss is at k-1. Okay, right now, so what is my boss ratio? My boss ratio is 6, so 5 into 6, and here also 20 into 6. I have to do 20 into 6 only, because this I have to multiply with just my boss ratio to get the expected, to get the wage, actual wage. Okay, to get this worker wage, boss ratio into quality of worker. Okay, this is the formula. So here can I write it like this, 20 plus 5, and 6 is the common, right? 6 is the common part. So I just need to calculate the sum of total qualities, right? So 25 into 6, what is the total result that I'm going to get? It's 150. Okay, it's 150. And same way, if okay, till here I know, and after that I have to add just this one. Okay, to check this one. Okay, so till here I know that I'm getting 150. Okay, now if I add this one, then definitely my k side will become what, greater than 2, right? Till here my k is 2 now. Now if I add this, my k will become 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, then after that from boss is equal to k. Okay, from here I'm going to check. Okay, from here I am going to run the next loop for the remaining elements. Okay, what are the remaining elements? So since there is only one element, so for this element first I am going to check for the Bose ratio. So what is the Bose ratio here? Tell me, what is the Bose ratio? That is Barker ratio. Okay, for this one, if this is my Bose, so 7. Okay, so what I am going to do here, first I am going to add this quality. Okay, this is my quality, right? This quality with this quality. So 20 plus 5 plus 10. What was total quality? 20, 25, 35. 35 was the total quality right now. Total quality 35. Okay, I've added total quality, and in this case in approach 3 I'm just adding the priority. I'm just adding the qualities in my priority queue. I'm just adding the qualities in the priority queue. Okay, I'm just adding the qualities in priority queue 35, and then since my k becomes 2, okay, so I have to just remove the maximum quality. What was the maximum quality here? 25, 30, 10. What was the maximum quality in among these three? Maximum quality is this 20. Okay, I am going to remove it. So 35 minus 20. 35 minus 20 is nothing but, tell me, 15. Okay, so this is my total quality now, 15, and I am just multiplying this total quality with the Bose ratio. What was one Bose ratio? 15 into 7. So what is the output? 105, right? Okay, so see, from here one thing is clear, that I just need to find the sum of total qualities, and the sum of total qualities I just need to multiply that with the Bose ratio. If this is my Bose, then if this is my Bose, then I have to just add the total qualities sum after just subtracting the largest one. Okay, largest one from the priority queue. In priority queue I am storing the qualities. Okay, because my k size become greater than 2. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. So this is simple thing that I'm going to write in a code. Okay, so code is going to be very simple. Okay, for this approach 3, and this is the final approach. Okay, so just focus on this one. Okay, so what if I don't explain approach 1 and approach 2? Then you guys will not be able to derive the formulas. Okay, that I've explained in both approach 1 and approach 2, how I'm deriving these formulas. Okay, then you guys will not able to understand approach 3 directly. Okay, that's the only reason that I have explained both approaches 1 and approach 2 first. Okay, so now let's write the code for approach 3. Double sum quality. Okay, then run one loop for int I is equal to 0, I is less than k, I plus plus, and then let's create the priority queue as well, right? So priority queue, and in the priority queue we have to just store the qualities this time. That's very simple, right? Priority queue, new priority queue, and the size of my priority queue is nothing but k, right? And here I have to just sort the qualities in decreasing order, right? So here this is the formula. If there are two elements a and b, okay, then I'm doing b minus a. Okay, if b is greater than a, then this result is going to be positive, then simply it means that b is greater than a. Okay, so this is the use of this lambda expression. Okay, so for int I is equal to 0, I is less than k, I plus plus, in the priority queue dot offer. Okay, in this time we have to just add the sum of qualities, right? So here worker ratio, this line, okay, this line just give me quality of that particular worker. Okay, so instead of worker I have to write I here. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. And then what is my sum quality? Sum quality is equal to sum quality plus worker ratio at I of 1. Okay, so this is how I am going to get the sum of quality. Okay, then boss ratio. How I'm going to calculate the boss ratio? Okay, so double boss ratio is equal to boss. I have told you that my boss is at this position. Okay, k minus 1 index first time. Okay, since I am running the loop till here only, I am running the loop till here only. Okay, so this is going to be my boss. Okay, at k minus 1 position. So here can I write it like this? Worker ratio, instead of I here, can I write just k minus 1, right? And here I need the ratio. Okay, ratio is at index 0, here column 0, right? So this is done. And then the result. Okay, so let's create one variable double of result is equal to multiply this boss ratio, with the sum quality. Okay, this is how I am going to get the result. Okay, that's I have already explained here. Sum is 25, boss ratio is 6, and that's how I am getting the result. This is done. Then after that, run the loop int boss. Now I am going to make boss 1 by 1. If my boss is k, int boss is equal to k. Okay, then boss is less than n, boss plus plus. Okay, and here my boss ratio is equal to worker ratio. Okay, I just need the ratio now, boss ratio. Okay, so boss ratio is equal to worker ratio, and here instead of k minus 1 I have just pass boss, and ratio is at 0th column only, right? And then in the priority queue dot offer, we have to just add quality of our boss, right? Priority queue dot offer int worker ratio boss of 1. This is done. Then after that we have to do the sum quality. So sum quality formula is also same, but just one change. Instead of I, since we are using boss, so I have to just use boss here. Okay, so this is how I'm going to calculate the sum of quality. And then after that, since we are adding a new element every time, my new boss is equal to k, every time I'm adding a new element, then definitely I have to remove the topmost element from my max heap, right? So for that, again, sum quality is equal to sum quality minus my worker ratio boss open. Okay, so topmost element I am going to remove. Okay, so this is done. Then in the result, I have to store math.min of result comma boss ratio into my sum of quality. This is how I am going to calculate the result, and in the end I have to just return result. That's it. Code is very simple, right? Return result. Okay, so now let's do one thing. Let's run the code and see. So there is one issue here, 150 I'm getting, so definitely I know where I did a mistake. Okay, let's zoom it and see. Okay, so for int I is equal to 0, I is less than k, I plus plus priority queue dot offer. Here I am adding I of 1, and sum quality is equal to sum quality plus worker ratio I of 1. Then boss ratio is equal to worker ratio k minus 1 on 0, and double result is equal to boss ratio into sum of quality. Then boss is equal to k, boss is less than n, boss plus plus. Then boss ratio is equal to worker ratio boss or 0, and priority queue dot offer int worker ratio boss 1. and then sum quality is equal to sum quality plus worker ratio both at index 1, both at column 1, and then sum quality is equal to sum quality minus, why I am writing worker ratio both 1 here, I have to remove the top element from the priority queue, right? pq.poll. Okay, now let's run it. This is the only issue, because we are not removing, right? So here I have removed. Now see, both the test cases have been accepted. Now let's submit it. So see, now our solution is going to be accepted, right, using approach 3. So what if I didn't solve the problem using approach 1 and approach 2? Then you guys will not be able to understand the approach 3. Okay, that's the only reason I have explained both the approaches 1 and approach 2, even though we are getting the time limit exceed error. Okay, so I hope that you guys are clear with this problem, right? And in this case also, see, first we are sorting the array, right? So here first time this worker loop is running n times, right? And then we are sorting the array. So here this is also going to take n log n time. Okay, and then after that I'm using my priority queue, and in this priority queue I'm running this loop k times. Okay, so k log k, this one, and then after that my boss loop is running n times. And inside this also I am going to use my priority queue, so n log k. So overall I can say that my time complexity is going to be of n plus of n log n plus of k log k plus of n into log k. Okay, so let me write. So first of n then simply I am writing it combining of n log n. Okay, then k log k for 0 to k minus 1. Okay, then after that n log k. Okay, so this is the time complexity, and space complexity is of n plus k only, right? So this is of n log n, and then here k log k, since we are using priority queue. So for feeding the data in priority queue or deleting everything, it's going to take log k. Okay, then here again we are running the loop n number of times, and since we are also inserting the elements in our priority queue and removing, so it is going to take n log k. Okay, so I hope that you guys are able to understand today's problem, and if you guys still have any doubts, then please feel free to ask in comment section. Till then, keep coding and keep practicing. Meet you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.